Greetings, my viewers. My name is Krassel, and today we'll do a bit of map archaeology. Before we continue, a fair warning. The map we're about to take a look at is a real eyesore. I wanted to do a different map, but people kept egging me on to showcase something nasty, and, well, here it is. We're off to a good start, with a glitchy ice-searing material on every surface, except for the floor, which has a default texture. To continue, we actually have to break the floor. It's a long way down. An invisible layer of water breaks our fall. Contrary to what you might think, it isn't a trigger that strips our weapons. It is actually a very big button stretched across the floor that is activated on touch. The button triggers player weapon strip, taking away your weapons. This map is practically unknown, with its only mention coming from some Japanese blog post made on 29 March 2006. On one hand, it's pretty obvious that something as grating as this would not win any mainstay within popular servers. But on the other hand, it's just so outrageously garish that it stands apart from your usual bad maps. The testing materials is what gives this map such a distinct look. As the name implies, these materials were only supposed to be used for testing purposes. However, many of them have interesting and unusual properties, which sometimes leads to them being used as special effects of sorts. I know I've been abusing those to make an intentionally bad level that was partially inspired by several maps like this one. By the way, if you're wondering, we're climbing back up to the same level we've fallen from. These ladders are a pain to dismount. Anyway, there are two dominant materials used here, and they both have to do with testing the environment map or cube map reflections. The letters you see denote sides of the cube map, but they're actually reflected, so this is why the images on the floor, walls, and the ceiling don't line up. They're reflections for each respective surface. But wait, there's more. The entire starting area is actually painted on that strange grayish-brown material, but for some strange reason, reflection gets hijacked by the CubeMap demo camera space material most of the time. See that floating cube? It's actually a cube of funk water. This map is oddly preoccupied with the funk water entity, and we'll see more of these cubes later. Anyway, we finally got at least one weapon back. But that's not exactly correct. The map actually has a weapon fist gun sitting nearby, but since we're in Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, this entity simply does not exist here. Uh-oh, this looks like a maze. You know, I'm just not gonna deal with that, since getting lost in the maze is neither interesting in itself nor interesting to watch. So, returning to the topic of the fist gun. Now, does this make this map a Garry's-Mod map? Maybe. For the reference, the first version of Gmod released 24th December 2004, and the last free version, 904, released 27th November 2005. So, assuming this map was made sometime in 2006, it is plausible it was made with Garry's-Mod in mind. However, there is another possibility. You see, Half-Life 2 Deathmatch had its source code essentially available in the form of Source SDK multiplayer mod code, serving as a base for would-be mods. This led to people with C++ know-how essentially using that codebase to modify their Half-Life 2 Deathmatch servers extensively. There existed several servers that had Weapon Fist Gun implemented in at least some capacity, with the Chapel server being the usual suspect, both because it had a functioning beta-style fist gun complete with welding gravity pellets, and because the community surrounding the server has produced a number of unusual maps specifically for the server, which often relied on the custom features provided by server modifications. So we can't really say if this map was made for Gmod or Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, but I have discovered it in Deathmatch, so my working theory reflects exactly that. And here's another of these water box things. Here you just have to swim up. Fastest way to do that in stock source games is to look up and hold forward. It is considerably faster than just holding down jump. Now this room is nasty. Two of these holes lead to depth, and one leads forward. There is no way to know which is which without trial and error, which is downright painful after getting through the maze section. The correct choice is the rightmost one. For our efforts, we're rewarded with another maze section. And if the maze looks familiar, it's because it is. The mazes we traverse are actually one small maze copied and pasted, rotated and altered slightly to match up exits with entrances. Not sure if that's supposed to confuse players, or if it's just plain old laziness on level designer's part, but these sounds are definitely here just to mess with the player. Let's talk about the name of the map. Why is it prefixed AI? It has nothing to do with artificial intelligence. It is not noded, nor it is conducive to testing in-game NPC capabilities. The best map ever made is an obvious irony, but out of all things author could have named the map, the name focus is on mocking the map's quality, further driving home the point that this style is very deliberate and is intended to be grating. There is definitely a point to be made that this is a troll map, or alternatively some sort of a challenge map designed to discourage you from completing it. This is one long corridor, but at least it's not another maze. Unfortunately, the lack of detail on the walls makes it hard to measure my own speed to do proper air strafing, so I'll have to downgrade to using an extremely basic version of bunny hopping here. This section almost looks like it was intended for players to have one final race, since this is indeed a final stretch of the map. But to draw a bottom line of sorts, nothing is really known about this map. We don't know who made it and for what purpose. It's even hard to say which game this map is for. It could be for the leaked beta, for all we know. The lack of context amplifies the weirdness factor of the map, which is already sky high thanks to the retina-searing choice of materials, unconventional gameplay, and off-putting obsession with funk water. You know how they say it's so bad that it's good? This map is so bad that it's back to being bad, but on a whole completely new level. It's getting up there to the atrociousness level that actually takes effort. Going any further would require extensive engine knowledge to actively make this even worse. But it was probably made by someone with nothing better to do for people who similarly have nothing better to do other than to play this, with a handful of schadenfreude thrown in. At least that's my working theory. I'd like to hear your own take on this in the comments. Right before the end, map has another trick up its sleeve, a fake floor for you to fall through. It's possible to strafe jump over the invisible gap, but there's nothing beyond that point but a dead end. It feels so strange to see normal textures at this point. So, after all this, our reward is bowl of water and 2 missing textures? I actually went back to look for missing textures and found none. And, it's probably for the best. There is also a small, sort of secret hidden in the corner right here. You just have to break the wall, which has 50 health points, and each pump from the gravity gun deals exactly 1 point of damage. So by doing some advanced math, we arrived to the conclusion that it takes 50 pounds of gravity gun to break that corner. Fitting. A tedious secret for a tedious map. The keenest of you might have guessed what is to be found inside. Another block of water. Is it here to drown yourself as a way to restart the map? We'll likely never know. I hope that you have enjoyed this little mob archaeology tour, and until the next time.